What's up, everybody? Just wanted to come in before the episode, say thank you to everyone who does subscribe on Patreon. If you don't, I would really appreciate it. Patreon.com/Brennan Tassif. Get the episodes early, get bonus content every single month. Also, if you subscribe to the top tier for 6 months, we'll do a little mini episode of X Drinking Buddy with you. So subscribe on Patreon. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much again for listening. My guest this week is awesome. I hope you guys like the episode. Gets a little crazy. But thank you again so much for listening.
Grab me a beer and grab him a coke. We about to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brandon T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brandon Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Tassif is your ex drinking buddy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you are new to the show, quick rundown of the show. I am sober now, but one of my favorite things back when I was partying was to hang out with friends, shoot the shit, talk shop, and just share old stories. Again, I'm sober now, but that's still one of my favorite things to do, hang out. I will normally always have a guest on the show. This week is no exception. Joined by hilarious Jacksonville comedian, probably not for long because he is so popular, Will Blaylock, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, I'm a Daytona comic, man.
Daytona?
I'm a Daytona
comedian.
Comedian from Daytona, yeah.
That's it.
I identify as a comedian.
Plug everything up front, let people know. Do you have any shows coming up, any dates? I know you just got done doing a little bit of a run.
Yeah, man, I'm on PS4, D's Nuts 32211 is my tag. I'm on Borderlands 3, UFC 4, Fortnite every once in a blue moon if there's a cool update. So yeah, check me out on PS4, the PlayStation Network.
All right. This is going to be the show, ladies and gentlemen. So, Will, you did just get back from Austin.
I did, man. I did. It was cool. It was my first time in Texas, and it was nice. It was too nice.
Was it?
It was too much at one time. Too much niceness at one time for me to come back. And you ever?
Yeah, I know exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you Because you've been, how long have you been doing comedy now? For everyone listening,
7 years.
7 years?
Yeah.
Okay, and you are known around obviously this area as one of the heavy hitters, as you like to say after every show. You're welcome.
Yeah, man. I'm great at comedy, and but it's like it's unimportant. Comedy is unimportant to everybody but comedians.
Yeah,
you know.
We talk about it all the time on the show.
Yeah,
how comedy is like the most important thing in my life, but everyone else.
Nobody
is
else
like,
can. Like you
you're
ever
a clown.
Seen, like a comedian to get on and everybody's happy and they be like, oh, he's on TV, but his role is like a stuttering coach, like a buffoon coach in like a Disney sitcom. And he just comes in like, who hid my eye drops? And everybody's like, oh, he's the man at the fucking
at the store. Yeah.
So it's not important, man. What's important is the work I've been putting in on PlayStation 4. Again,
that's D's Nuts.
D's with a Z. D's Nuts 32211, like the zip code. That was the zip code I lived in at the time that I made the. I don't live there anymore, but that was my zip code at the time I made the profile.
You're putting in work over there.
I'm putting in major work. I had to cut off my messages.
Oh, really?
That's how much work I'm putting in, because nobody wants to be friends on, like, when you have a good game with somebody, I normally send them a friend request and, want to play again, but they're like, they call me all types of faggot, nigga.
What?
Yeah. Like, one of them, I used to wear the,
it's rough out there.
I used to wear the headset.
Yeah.
And they could hear my voice, and I don't have the deepest voice, so one of them was calling me like a faggot ass white boy, and they love faggot. That's their go-to words, and I'm like, yo, how do you even know if I'm really a bundle of sticks?
Is that that's the comeback to him?
How do you even know I'm a bundle of sticks, man? I'm a living person. I'm not a bundle of sticks.
You have some of just the most like interesting comebacks, because that's like I say it jokingly with you all the time. I go, you cheat, you crush with the crowd work, like you're cheating.
Oh yeah,
but
man.
you have I saw you once at Paper Route. This dude, really tan dude with a mustache, kept like talking, and you said something like, hey man, I know things are going good at the Pringles factory, but like this is my show. And it just crushed.
You know who used to do it real good? Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
When because that was his form. He'd just say who you look like.
Yeah.
And then you can add something onto it. A lot of it is just like, it's not even off the top of the head. I've been looking at the crowd, you know, because normally.
Oh yeah.
So I've been looking at the crowd, and then normally if it's a heckler, even if he stopped heckling, I'm still gonna say, because I'll be like, nah, this is a good comeback for him.
Yeah.
I hope he don't stop by the time I get on. But even if he stopped, I'll still say something.
That's probably one of the things I'm most envious about you when it comes to comedy, because like if people are talking, I immediately go to rage. Like, and you've seen it. Yeah. I mean, you constantly make the jokes about like you look like every like angry like active shooter.
You look like every disgraced cop.
Yeah.
Like I would say you can do that, because it's like, you know, like a skinny white guy can be like, everyone shut up, and you know, it's funny. Like even in Austin, one of the comedians was like, I'll fight a woman, and everybody started laughing. But when you look at it like a nigga like me or a guy like you, that aggression will make people turn back, because like the threats can be valid.
Yeah, it's not an idle threat when I say it.
Yeah,
it's like, this guy might walk off the stage and try to fight me.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm like, the Clam Jam is like, the Clam Jam just looks like security for Morgan. That's all. That's all it is. It just looks like security, because y'all 9 times out of 10, you and Marcus are wearing black t-shirts.
Always, yeah.
So y'all just look like security, and we just trying to figure out who Morgan is.
That's true. We do look like our security. Yeah, it's weird because I've noticed that at shows before where, like, I'm like, oh, I'll take control of the room. Like, and I try to do what you do, but because you're funny about it, and you like make a joke, and then everybody laughs, and we're having a good time. So I've tried to do it, and it just comes off as aggressive, angry, like, and
your fucking eyes.
I know, and then it's weird too, because then the audience will pull back because they're like, "What's happening? Like, what's going on?" And then I start to lose everyone else, and then it's just then I get more angry, and then it's a fucking mess. Because I've referenced it on this show before a few times, but I always tell people like, I wish I could come at hecklers like how you do, because it's so much. Because you're a bigger guy, so like if you got angry, I've never seen you angry. You always kind of laugh everything off.
Yeah.
But like if you got angry, people would tense up. But I've never seen you get mad have you ever gotten to the point on stage where you're like, I'm gonna fucking lose it, or do you just like walk off?
After my grandma died,
oh yeah,
I did the first show back was some brewery in Leesburg, and normally I'll work heckler work or crowd work into a bit.
Yeah.
But the guy was talking. He didn't even say nothing like crazy disrespectful. It wasn't disrespectful in the least bit. I came up and he was like, Lil Wayne, because I had my dreads down. Like I don't look like Lil Wayne. There's nothing. I'm just black. I just got dreads. And he was Lil Wayne, just some fat Peter Griffin looking. So I was like,
well, I've seen Lil Wayne live. He's like 5'5".
Exactly.
Like 110 pounds.
But instead of me doing crowd, because I normally, you know, say who he looked like and then run that
hit
into
him with
a
the
bit
Peter Griffin,
some shit like that. But I was just like, hey, shut up. And he was like, huh? And I said, shut up. And I just spent the first 5 minutes of my set telling him and his party how I wish they were dead.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it was bad. The entire brewery was just dead silent. And I was telling him how if he was dead, the show would be better. And
holy shit.
His girl was like, did you just tell him you wish he was dead? And I said, yeah, I wish you were dead too. And it was bad. They wrote the promoter. And it was just like,
oh, that was the people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. Okay.
Yeah, and they wrote the promoter and told him not to bring. I don't give a fuck. I don't need that $75 to drive 2 hours and do comedy for white people in hoodies and with a tank top under it. I'm not the type of white people I want to like me anyway.
Yeah. Well, you've got throngs of fans, but it's funny because it's always
you said throng.
I'm playing on the.
I like it.
It's like white nerds. It's a lot of white nerds. They love you.
Yeah, man. I think because of what I like. Like if I could do it again, I think I would be a white nerd because it's just fun. Like I don't like niggas when I get around. They like to watch hood movies and shooters. Like Shotters was a big one, and Belly and shit like that. But I'm like, I live this shit, man. I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't.
I want to see superhero movies. I want to see like if you live in the hood, I want him to know how to shoot webs out his hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just into that. I went to my first anime comic book convention this year, man.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was down called Ancient Con or something like that, Collective Con, and it was cool. I felt at home there. It was just so fucking cool. I felt way more comfortable there than I do at a fucking Kevin Gates concert.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and it's interesting too because I know you've mentioned this to me, and I don't know if you're joking because for those of you listening who don't know Will very well, Will loves to troll. It's like one of his favorite hobbies. So sometimes when you say things to me, I'm always like this, like setting up the podcast. Mm-hmm. There was a piece of the back of my mind where I was like, oh, he's trolling me. Like, you're just going to keep pushing back the time and then be like, oh, man, sorry, I can't make it. There was a part of me that thought that because I know, like, sometimes you'll go to extreme lengths to troll people.
Oh, yeah, man.
Like changing your profile picture, getting in people's DMs.
No, the only thing I changed the time, you wanted me over here at 5. Like, that's like rush hour.
No, I know. No, but that's not, I'm just saying, because that's like one, and it's weird too, because like when new comics come into the scene, like that whole thing that was going on with that the one newer guy, and I was like, does he know? Like, he doesn't know Will. Like, he doesn't know what Will's doing. And he was like genuinely like responding to different posts. I was like, stop. Like, stop it. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I feel bad sometimes.
When you do like the lineup's full, inbox me. Please respond.
It's funny because because that's what I thought comedy was gonna be, like just people fucking with each other, and then I realized like, oh, it's.
I love it when you do it. So
yeah,
because I know I've known you now for a few years, so I can kind of tell when you're fucking with people and when you're being serious.
Yeah, it's I love it, man. I think my biggest. I think if I died from trolling somebody, like I think that would be how.
That's a win.
That's how I want to die.
Yeah, that's how you want to go out.
I want to, yeah.
Someone finally being like, I'm fed up with this shit.
Not even that. Like, I just want them, like, maybe to be holding one of my pistols. I'm like, you ever shot a gun? And they be like, no. I'm like, yeah, just aim it, point it at me. Now just pull the trigger. And they're like, no, I'm scared. I'm like, it's empty, man. Pull the trigger.
And then bang.
And then they kill me.
Like that thing on Tiger King?
Yeah.
Where he was like, it won't shoot if it's not boom!
And he fucking shot himself in the head. That's how I want to go out. I want to be buried right next to him, man.
So, you and I, back to what we were talking about. You and I have had this discussion where, and I don't know if you want to put it on the podcast or not, but about how a lot of the comics, when you first started, and even now that you hang out with, are more of alternative, nerdy, kind of like, like, you know, like Buck, which we've had on the show, and then like Marcus, who's, you know, his nickname's the Gummy Bear Gangster and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're, but there's a whole, it's not, I wouldn't say separate, but there is a scene in Jacksonville. There's the Comedy Zone people, then there's kind of like the local scene, and then there's the, you know, a black scene. And it's like, it's weird how very rarely do we all like end up at shows and stuff together.
Yeah.
And I know you've mentioned it before, but you've been more pulled, I guess you would say, to more like the local scene with like Buck and Crespo and KP and all those kind of guys.
Yeah, because we got the same, that just stems from us having the same views on comedy. Like a lot of niggas have like the hustle man mentality of comedy, right? They just, you know, they want you to sell tickets, and you know, it's like a whole, that the actual day of the show is cool as hell because they you know, it's a lot of beautiful women there, and they selling 25-cent wings and shrimp, shit like that. Is like a real club event. Like, people get dressed up for real, and it's cool every once in a while. But I don't like the whole spectacle. I don't like the whole
comedy is secondary,
being you know, it's formal and all that. Like I like the shit that Buck got in that fucking basement. And you go back in there and you can just fuck around. Like when they write comedy, they're not trying to write nothing new or have a different outlook on anything that's already being said. They're just trying to get the laugh and then, you know, just hustle. Like comedy, a lot of niggas is not trying to be comedians anymore. Their comedy is a vehicle to acting or Wilding Out or some shit. That's niggas' dreams now to be on Wilding Out. That's crazy to me.
Well, the reason I brought it up, and the only reason and this is the last thing I'll say about it, because I don't mean to harp on it. I don't want to turn it into that kind of podcast. But
What we talk about niggas, just talk about how much we hate nigga comics. me and Brennan hate
no.
nigga comics,
Don't
man.
put me in that shit. No, it's because at your wedding, I was one of the first people there, and you introduced me to like your family and stuff. You go, oh, this is my white friend Brennan. He's a comic. In fact, all the white people you see here today are going to be comics. And that's like how you introduced me. And I was like, hey.
And they loved you, man.
I know, but
loved you.
It was just one of those situations where I was thinking about it. Because you and I have had that discussion where you go, no, I'd rather hang out with you guys than hang out at like different venues and stuff, which is, awesome. It's just one of those things where I know you've said sometimes you get self-conscious about it, almost like, and that's, I guess, the point I was trying to get to, was that you can get a little self-conscious about it sometimes.
Yeah, you don't want to be the nigga who can only do white rooms, man, because I done seen them niggas, and they are just, light skinned with like a Captain America shirt and a white girlfriend. They're talking about how hard it is being black, but they're normally the only black dude in whatever situation they're in, because that's the type of, and it's just like you can tell, like, even in their personal lives, they're somebody's black friend.
Yeah.
Their whole group, they're the black friend and shit like that. Which, if that's where life took you, that's fine. But I don't want to be pigeonholed into that, because I'm a nigga. Like, I'm a nigga who just happens to look at comedy this way, and I happen to like enjoy things that niggas don't normally enjoy. But I mean, the thing is, man, with social media, you get to see it's a lot of niggas like me. Like, I meet them, a lot of them in Savannah and Georgia and shit. Like, they are into the shit that I'm into. It's just in my little bubble, niggas just didn't like we used to have this after school program and we could bring our video games, and the niggas would be playing Madden.
Yeah.
And I would be over there with a small group of niggas, and they be playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
Okay.
And I'll be playing that, and the niggas turn around, look at these niggas. Look at these niggas playing Superman, and dumbass.
It's not even Superman.
Like,
it's not even the same genre.
And then when you explain that, you just sound worse.
Yeah,
Trying to explain it.
Yeah.
So you don't say nothing. You just, Superman. But yeah, man.
Yeah, Superman.
Yeah, I got thrown. I'm not, like, I don't know. I think all my bridges are burned in black comedy. It's maybe like 3 or 5 of them in Jacksonville that still like me. Because I like make fun of the shit they do. They don't like, because they take it serious.
Yeah.
They take it real serious, so they don't like when I make fun of the, awful comedy they putting out. And they just, they won't invite me back to Tina's Crab Hut.
Well, because you'll do it on the show. I've watched you. I've watched
Yeah.
you burn bridges to the ground on the show.
Yeah.
Where you get up there and you're like, the fuck are we doing? And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I hate if I like I said, man, if I was good at anything else, I would do it instead of comedy.
Well, there's a freedom that comes with that too, because you're good at comedy. So it's also, you're not, like you said, those 2 people complained, like, well, I'm okay. I won't drive 2 hours for 70. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because you just got done, as we alluded to already, doing the show in Austin, which was huge. And again, you didn't hype it up. You didn't really let anybody know. The way I found out was I reached out to you to do the podcast, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna be in Austin this week, but maybe next week." Yeah. And I was like, "The fuck?"
Yeah, man. I don't know. I guess I realized people who I'm around don't care, like non-comedian. Like if I was like, I posted a flyer, and my little brother who happened to be stationed in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And he said he was gonna come through, but people like my regular, they don't give a fuck. They'll like a picture of me doing comedy, but they're not in my inbox like, yo, like, when's the next show? Which
is so weird, because I remember when you did the show with Mark Norman. What was that, 2 years ago now? Mm-hmm. I drove to Orlando, and I was just like, yeah,
for me, all for me,
for you,
purely for me.
And then Mark Norman happened to be there. I was there to see you.
Yeah, of course, man. I knew it.
But because I really do enjoy watching your comedy, because you can do things on stage that I just can't do, either just writing wise, like we talked about with the hecklers and stuff, and then just creativity wise, because you have such a unique upbringing with the things that you like, and then you were always a bigger kid, being bullied and stuff like that, but growing up in a poverty kind of area, and then kind of coming out of it, and then you have such a unique perspective.
Yeah.
And that's what comedy is. It's all subjective. It's all about your life, your perspective, which is why my comedy, like I tell people all the time, like I can't do clubs, because I'm talking about fucking suicide and hurting myself and like stalking my ex-girlfriend and like it's really intense. So I crush at Rain Dogs.
Yeah.
But then I go to do Jackie Knights and it's crickets and I'm like, it's the same set. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, man, you were meant for back rooms.
Yeah.
Nowhere where you could see the stage when you walk in the front door should you be at. Nobody want to walk in and see Brendan on stage. They want to go into a back room. They want to know you're there before they see you.
Well, and that's fine. I quote it all the time. Kyle Kinane says, I don't need everybody. I just need enough to fill a room.
Exactly, man.
But you have such a unique perspective just on life. I remember one of the first jokes I ever heard that you did was talking about Republicans and Democrats, the AC thing, the car bit.
Oh, yeah.
And I like died. And it was so funny. And then I went and told my more conservative Republican uncle, I was like, I heard this bit from a comic. This is when I first came back. And I told him the bit. And then he started laughing. And I was the one who said it. Like, I was like, this comic Will, I was like, let me just tell you his joke. Like, let me just tell you the joke. So I told him. And then he started laughing. And I was like, oh my God. Like, this comedy is translatable to anybody.
Yeah.
Because it's true and it's funny and it's a different perspective. So that's why I was always like, oh, and I know you have that bit about like, you know, when I make, you know, when your wife gives you a kiss, like one day you're going to be famous.
Oh, yeah.
That's just another perspective thing where I was like, that's hilarious. But you do shows, you travel all over, but it like you said, it's almost like who, like in your mind, it's like, who cares? Like, whatever.
Yeah, nobody cares, man. They don't care until you're on Wild 'N Out or you're on TV. That's when people will really start to care. That's when they'll be like, oh, he from Jacksonville. That's when they'll be proud you're from Jacksonville. And I understand that now. So that's why I'm not in people's face. Like, it's so fucking weird. You see niggas put like tour dates.
Yeah.
You see like John Davidson put his tour dates. Like, it'll be a picture of him at the open mic with his tour dates.
The tour dates.
One of the dates is the open mic.
And then I was like, what am I doing?
Like,
nobody cares.
Like, somebody's like, download his tour dates. We got to know that when he's going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings trivia night.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is that there's so many people who are like, hey, we're going to come see you. We're going to come see you. And by the third or fourth time, I'm like, I'm going to stop inviting you.
Yeah.
Like, I'll post, if I'm at Rain Dogs, I'll post, like, doing comedy tonight at Rain Dogs, like, if I'm already there.
Yeah.
And then if somebody sees it and wants to come through, then come through.
Yeah.
But, like, I put the shows on the website that I'm booked at, like, the paid shows that I'm doing, I'll put those on my website. But other than that, it's like, I'm like you, man. I'm like, all right, like, cool. Like, if you want to come to a show, you'll find it.
Yeah.
I post enough on, like, Facebook, Instagram, and my website where it's like, if you really wanted to see a show, you would find it.
Yeah, it's
like,
just,
I don't need to.
People say that, right? Say you've seen somebody, a Facebook friend who you see him on Facebook all the time, but you rarely see him in person.
Yeah.
Y'all are in line at Walmart, you know, self-checkout, and you're waiting to get called up. They're going, Brendan, hey, how you been, man? But good. But like, how's comedy going? Yeah, it's good, man. I got to get out to one of your shows. That's just something to fucking say.
Yeah.
Like, no, they don't. It's just they're filling the silence. It's just something they remember, so they said it. So, you know, I don't put any stock in it. Because I used to be like, yeah, I got one actually this day. I just be like, I'll let you know, man.
Yeah.
And then just never.
Yeah, I've gotten to that point now, too. Because when I first came back, I was so excited. And I actually had a couple of shows where a ton of people came.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be... Because, you know, I have the fucking sad story. Like, almost died, got sober, now I'm back doing comedy. And, like, so people were like, you know, oh, yeah, it's a comeback story. Everybody in America loves a comeback.
Yeah.
But after, like, the second or third show where I got, like, a lot of people to come out, they were just kind of like, okay, like, we've seen it. Like, we're good.
Yeah.
Don't care if you have new material. Don't care. Like, we got it.
Yeah,
okay.
The next thing, they come, like, I think the important thing is what? Is your first couple shows, and then when you feature for somebody important,
yeah,
and then when you headline, and then when you get on TV, that's when those are the times when people care.
Yeah,
all the shit between that is just whatever.
It's just shit.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
It used to be a guy, like, I like it to. It was this guy I work with. I wore a Miami Heat hat. It was just a red hat. I wore it because it was red. And he came into the break room with me, and he was like, Miami Heat, and he started talking about the Heat, and I didn't know. I felt like me explaining to him that I didn't follow basketball would have took more effort than to just pretend like I knew what. So I just pretend I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
And he just started naming niggas. He was just like, yeah. He's like, Rusko Donovich, man, he got a mean 3. I was like, yeah. And then now every time I see him, regardless of where, he's like, man, the Heat. And he'll talk about either the game they just had or the next game. And I just shake my head, yeah. I was like, yeah, man, hey, Rusko Donovich is going to, he's going to get a rebound.
He's going to get a rebound.
I think he's going to get a rebound. But it's just courtesy. It's just a courtesy, yeah.
But it's a weird thing because I obsess so much about comedy. That's why I can watch your set and you could do the same set and I'm still going to laugh because I genuinely like the jokes. It's genuinely funny to me.
Thank you.
Which is why I don't understand. Like, I've seen specials like 4 or 5 times of comics that I like. I'll go to mics and sit up front to watch the show because I genuinely enjoy comedy. But, like, that's how I look at it. So it's weird to me when people are like, no, we saw him last year. And it's like, yeah, but you don't, like, it's new stuff. Or why don't you come to the open mic? We're all working on shit. It's hilarious to watch us bomb on new shit that we think is going to be hilarious. Yeah. Like, that's fun. And people are like, nah, like, we saw him a couple months ago. Like, we got it.
It's a novelty, man.
Yeah, which I never understood because I've always been such a fan of comedy that it's, like, so weird to me. Especially because after shows, I've seen people, like, rush you and be like, oh, my God, that was great. And you always do your... Yeah, I know I'm great. Yeah, thank you. I know.
Yeah.
I'm great. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. That's what you said. You're welcome.
Yeah, because it's like.
But then that's it. Like, then
you never
then
see
they
him
leave
again,
and you never see him again, and then that's the end. Which is so bizarre to me because like I told the story on here a bunch of times when Tom Segura used to come to Jacksonville, and I'd go to like every show, and I'd like try to hang out with him after and say, and like a little too intense. Like I was drinking at the time. That's what I'm going to blame it on. But it's one of those things where it's like. I was like a fan, like a genuine fan. And so it's weird. It's so bizarre to me how people will come up after I've watched it and talk about like, that was so funny. You're great. This joke, that joke, you're great. And then you never see them again. Yeah. And it's like, wait, like you're not going to give me a follow. You're not going to like check, like see where I'm going to be next. Like that's just the end of it.
Nah, you get that once you're on, I think that probably comes when you get to that feature stage. When you're featuring for somebody important, then they want to know who you are. Yeah. I think, but from the first half, they don't care.
And in some of the rooms that we do too, it's like, I think it's almost not disrespectful to us, but do you know what I mean? Like it's like people are like, hey, last minute opening at such and such. Like, come do 5 minutes. And we all, a lot of us will jump. Like, yeah, I'll be there. Mm-hmm. You get there, and, like, half the people didn't know we were having comedy. The other half are half paying attention. And you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where you go into a room and you're like, I think I made a mistake.
Yeah, I can. Every time somebody asks me to do a show, that's how it is. I can't think of any of the, like, shows I'm doing as a favor or something. And when I say shows I'm doing as a favor, I don't mean like oh, it's time for me to bring some class to this. I mean just they needed somebody and they hollered at me and I did it. And I've never said this. I had fun tonight. I've never been like, I'm glad I did this. I can't think of any time I've ever done it. But those, because I only reach out to do shows that I've done that were fun. Like I'm not reaching out to I'm not emailing comedy improv. The improv and no shit like that. I'm just, hey, that show I did was fun 2 months ago. Can I do it next month? And they're like, yeah. And then I have fun because I know. And but when somebody, hey, we need somebody at Chicken and Waffles, come do 5 minutes and you get a free drink ticket, and I'm just like, okay. But I think it's just. You want to feel special. You want to be good at something, and comedy is the only thing I've ever been. Like comedy, I'm good at, and I'm good enough to like be the best in my area. Yeah, for sure. So that feels good. Yeah, that feels good. And PS4, I think I'm really good, but people care less about that than they care about comedy. they give a flying fuck.
Do you do Twitch or anything like that?
Nah, man.
Oh, see, that's where people care.
That's where it's at.
That's where it's at, man.
I don't know. I always see the people doing it. They have the green screen behind them. Yeah. I want to get a setup. I want them to see me talking shit and playing the game. But
before I broke my Xbox, I had the whole thing in here because the network that I run my sports show on, the network that I do my sports show on, we Twitch everything. Yeah. So they kind of showed me how to do it all, and I was like, oh, I could just. if I wanted to do that, I could do that.
So you played a video game while you was doing it? You played it?
Well, so you can. So with the setup that I have with the multi-monitors and the webcams and stuff, I can set it up to where I can run the TV through the Xbox through the computer. So you can actually get the clear picture from the television, and you can watch me play the game. But I'm not that good at any game to where I want to broadcast it.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I had the setup, but I was kind of like, no. But you're good. Like you.
Yeah, I think I'm really good, man. Like I'm not. I play some guys who are like in the sports league who they go and it's like people who treat it like a real event, real sports event. I play them and they beat me, but I never felt like I don't want to play them again. Because you know how when somebody beats you, see their name and then you can back out of the match. I always go back in like I think I can beat them this time.
Yeah.
So
they sold out Staples Center, the fucking esports shit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That is so fucking weird. That's like Black Mirror almost to me, man. I mean, I got to get with the times. I'm getting old. So shit is like, because I'm not 100% sure what TikTok is, man.
I hate it so much.
People keep saying, I thought TikTok was like Vine. Like with 5-second videos?
No, yeah. So it's not. It's like minute-long videos. But it's cool because it pushes your stuff in front of people.
Yeah.
Like if you tag it right. So there's some clips that I put up of like my comedy that have gotten, 700, 800 views, which is more.
Oh, word.
Yeah, which is not a lot, but it's more than any other platform that I put it on.
Yeah, that's a lot to me.
Yeah, and so, but what it does is, so what it'll do is for like every like you get, it pushes it higher in the algorithm. Oh. Every comment, it pushes it up. So like if you get action on something, like there's a Wyatt Lutz, a funny comic out of Dayton, and I met him when I went to Dayton, Ohio to do some shows, and him and I were talking about it, and then I went on his TikTok, and this is just a guy from Dayton, a couple hundred followers on Instagram or whatever, and then I went on his TikTok, 43,000 followers.
Wow.
And I was like, the fuck? Like, what? He goes, he's like, I don't know, man. Some videos hit, some don't. I don't know what it is. I just put out content. And,
okay. I need to check out TikTok, man.
Yeah, because the reason I like it is because my stand-up, I'm very convinced, is a niche. Stand-up itself is niche, but my particular brand of, dark comedy is even more niche. So I need to get it out in front of people because the people it connects with, it'll really connect with. But everyone else is just kind of, did I tell you what my dad told me? I was talking to my dad on Sunday, and he was like, Brennan, you have great stage presence. Now if you could just find someone to write you some jokes, you'll be set.
What an amazing father, man. That's the most white dad shit to say to your son.
I know what he meant. I know, and to all fairness, I don't want to bash him. I know exactly what he meant. He meant I have a lot of very dark material that doesn't play to rooms and stuff. But I
feel like when he said that, he was looking at a newspaper. Like he wasn't even looking at you. Like I feel like that's just... He was looking at a newspaper in front of a TV on mute. He was just like, yeah, you got presents. Just get some jokes.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like, that's why I like TikTok, because it'll just force it out in front of people. Yeah. And so like I did one, and you and I have talked about this before, but I did one where like just fucking stupid, but I was like, hey, to the table who left me $30 on $500 check, do me a huge favor, go fuck yourself. And I put that on TikTok. Just thinking like, oh, it's silly. Like I did the De Niro face. Like, oh, it'd be fun. Dude, when you talk about people's pockets, I woke up the next day, it had like 2,400 views. And I was like, I'm taking off. But it also had like 8 or 9 comments. And I don't read comments on anything ever. So it had 8 or 9 comments. And it was just people coming after me.
Yeah.
Like, get a new fucking job. Like, if you don't fucking like it, then you should have gone to school. And I'm like, I have 2 degrees. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
So it's just all these people coming after me. And Marcus, bless his heart, man, came running into my comment thread like a fucking Spartan. Like, just fuck you guys. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You guys are all fucking probably the cheap assholes who don't tip anyway. And I was just like, oh, this is what TikTok is.
Oh, yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of that.
So after that, I took that post down because I didn't realize that if you Google me, it said where I worked, and I didn't want to get in trouble at work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, huh? If I Google you, it'll show me?
So I use my full name on everything. But if you put my full name into Google, I've now taken it down. But one of the first things that came up, So it was like my Instagram, my Twitter, and then my LinkedIn profile, which said where I worked.
Jesus.
Which I don't talk about on the pod. I don't talk about anywhere because I talk a lot of shit about where I work sometimes.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. Like, if someone really got like that upset about me talking about how people tip, they could Google me real quick and then like write an email to corporate and be like, hey, just so you know, this guy is out, this works for your company, is out here talking about how your patrons tip.
Yeah.
And then I immediately took the post down, but I was like, damn, I haven't gotten that much heat ever in my whole life.
And that's crazy because, right, because we're about the same age.
Yeah.
So when we were coming up, that's when social media was first getting started.
Yep.
Like, and we didn't look at it as I didn't look at it as a real thing. I felt like it was a place to just talk shit. Cause like nobody was being themselves on that. So that's why I thought it was like, it was bullshit. It was like you go on there to flex and try to get phone numbers from girls who go to a different school than you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
MySpace pages.
Yeah.
I remember.
And like I'm like, and then even as you get older, you know, you listen to the rappers, they be like, you just internet gangsters. Y'all faking for the internet. I'm still thinking, okay, yeah. So the internet, the social media still isn't a real place. It's just a place where you go to flex and talk to girls. And now
Trigger
shit like
fingers versus Twitter fingers.
Yeah, and now shit is like the internet is affecting real life more than real life is affecting real life.
It's insane how many times, like I have that whole bit about consequences. It's so weird how it's like, I see it from my perspective where it's like, oh, if you came in and you paid with a business card and then fucked me, I'll just go leave a bad review about your business. Yeah. Like, who pays with a business card and then like screws over like, you're out of your mind.
You want to protect UPS money or some shit.
But it's like you're saying though, it's like now the internet's a real thing. Yeah. Like I put out podcasts and I've had people reach out to me and be like, you shouldn't have said that, or you should take that down, or this or that. And it's like, wait a second. This thing that I do with friends and like colleagues and people I know, this fun podcast where we shoot the shit and tell stories, you're trying to like come at me like with aggression about this. Like it's for fun.
It's real life now though. Like it's not, we don't get the fun of it just being the internet anymore. Like it's not a place to just fuck around. Like if you look me up on YouTube, you're not gonna find anything. But I have a YouTube video where I have a lampshade on my head and I'm freestyling. And this is like when YouTube first started, because YouTube was just a silly place. Like, oh shit, I'm on the internet. It's kind of like the equivalent of like when you show your parents how to use the camera phone. Yeah, yeah. That's how it was for me. But now it's like, it's real now. Like it's like you don't go in there just to fuck off and have a weird user tag name and then like the shit will come back to haunt you. So I'm like being more careful because like we chose the president off of the internet. Like damn near. Like people decided who they were gonna vote for off of memes. Like
it's just the probably I had Matt Fulshron in here. Well, not in here, but we did a podcast. He's a New York comic and I said something like, it's shitty now because my old law professor used to say, if you say anything with confidence, people will believe you. And I said, it's shitty now with Google though, because people can just look it up. And he made a great point. He goes, yeah, but people don't.
They won't, yeah.
They just believe what they see. And then all of a sudden it turns into real life. And it's like, I'm having arguments with my twin sister about stuff, all because of what she saw on the internet. And what I used to what I studied are two different things, but it's like now this is affecting me. Like now we're fighting in real life, because of something she saw on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, it's realer than real life. As crazy as that sounds, man.
And people get upset, won't talk to you for a long time. Like not her, obviously, her and I are good, but I've been in situations before where friends that were people I thought were friends just were like, all right, we're just not friends anymore. Yeah, and I'm like, but can't. Like, just look it up. Like, can't you see that you're wrong? Like, I'm not crazy. Like, I'm not. And Daisy and I have talked about this ad nauseum too on her episodes. It's like I'm not insane. Like, I'm right. Yeah. But people just don't want to hear it.
Hey, I gotta pee.
You gotta pee?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Go pee. Okay. We're just gonna keep rolling, and then we're gonna talk about strip clubs.
Oh yeah, I'm an expert on fucking strip clubs.
Let's get into the fun stuff now.
Yeah, are we still recording?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I gotta take a bath, son. I pulled my dick out. That shit smelled like crystals. You ever opened a bag of crystals that steam and onions hit you?
All right, so we talked about comedy. We talked about you coming up in Jacksonville. But let's get to the real nitty gritty. That's the whitest thing I've ever said, the real nitty gritty. You joke about it a lot on stage, but you are a fan of gentlemen's clubs.
Yeah, man. It's the cheat code, man. You get to go there, and because I've been in a relationship. That's part of my personality now. I've been in a relationship for so long, and it's just a way to go and just. It's the cheat code without cheating.
Yeah.
You get to go there, and they. I like it when they're on their game. I like when they know what they doing. Like they sit and they play the game how it need to be played.
Yeah.
Like I don't like strippers Don's daddy. It'd be like a lot of Cuban and Colombian girls now, and they Don's daddy. I'm like, no,
Don's
thank you.
daddy.
They're like, no Don. You want no Dons? I'm like, no, thank you. Oh, daddy, you want no Don? It's like they like the maid from Family Guy.
Yeah,
yeah, and it take all the fun out of it, man.
Because I remember when I got my settlement money, that $26,000 that I spent in 28 days.
Nah, that's the whitest thing you ever said.
When I got that, though, and I've told this story on the podcast. That's episode 2 if you want to hear the full story. But I would just go into the strip club in Daytona and just like literally change $200 in ones and just throw it up in the air and be like, someone come clean this up. Like, this is a mess.
Beautiful.
But like you're saying, it was very much, the girls were very much like, they want to sit down and talk to you and make you think like, oh, like there's something happening here. And then they bring up the dance situation. You don't just walk up and say, do you want to dance? Like, you have to play. It's a game. It's a delicate balance.
I enjoyed, make it like fun. Like, I get it. I'm here to spend money. You're here to get me to spend my money. But I mean, I'm not attracted to 70% of the women in there. It's just point blank period. I'm not attracted to them. So work it. Like, make it fun for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is an experience that I'm paying for. I don't like when it's too transactional.
Yeah.
Like them Asian massage girls when they're jerking you off. It's like, it's no love. You feel like you're just like, it's almost like you're just on a conveyor belt and you're like,
you're just going through
dun 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 dun, and it's I want to finesse me. You know what I'm saying? Like, work big, play me out.
Put a little love into it.
I ain't gonna lie, I do like when they're like, yeah, this is my first time. I like that nervousness when it's like their first, because Jacksonville was trying to make it so you had to be like 25 or some shit to be able to strip, and you had to get licensed for it.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was on the news. One of the strip clubs is suing the city because they're saying that goes against the Constitution or some shit. But like, can you imagine going to a strip club full of 25-year-old strippers? That's like old for strippers. Son. That's they're all seasoned and just smoking cigarettes.
Plus, they haven't been stripping from 18 to 25. So God knows what they were doing in that in-between time.
Ugh, I don't want nobody with life experience. It's disgusting. I don't talking about their kids. They love showing me pictures of their kids for some reason. I don't know what. I need to be creepier so they don't pull out the kid pictures.
I used to do, you'll get a kick out of this. I used to do the thing where I would, because I was raised by women mostly. My mom, my twin sister, my older sister were always in my life, and they still are. So I would do this thing where I'm like, I don't want to be disrespectful. Like, let's just talk. Like, let's just sit here and talk. Dude, hundreds of dollars spent just sitting and talking, trying to be best friends. Like, it was...
They loved you. I'm sure they fucking loved you.
It was the worst. And then when you run out of money, this is something
I'm sure you didn't have that beard back then either, did you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You were
spiked hair,
a fucking
clean-shaven.
mark. You were a fucking mark, man.
But this is something I learned the hard way. When I ran out of that money, like I checked my account one day and I had like negative $112 or something. And then I was like, oh, well, I've spent so much money at this one, because I kept going to the same one. I was like, I've spent so much money at this one particular strip club. They'll let me in for free. Like, they'll set me up in VIP and I can just hang out, like get a couple drinks or something. That was not the case.
That is insane that you thought that.
I genuinely thought that.
It's funny. About 3 paragraphs ago, you said that that's the whitest thing I ever said, and it's like you just keep saying keep saying whiter and whiter shit. Like, I've spent money here before. I
thought they let me in
to this strip club.
They did let me in, and then they let me in, but the problem is, like, before when I'd go in, like I said, I'd throw money up and all this and I wasn't having that same fanfare.
Yeah. And
I kind of walked to the back and they stopped me, and I was just kind of like, what's going on, man? They're like, what's going on with you? And then, you know, me, drunk as shit. I'm like, oh, you're not going to believe it. I blew through all my money. Can you believe that?
You told them the truth.
And they were like, yeah, man, well, you head over to the bar. Get yourself a drink. Thinking it was like free. And they handed me a tab, and I was like,
I love it, man.
I had to go back the next day with a good friend of mine to get my wallet back because they were like, well, we're keeping your card. You need to give us some sort of collateral. And I think, not my wallet, but my debit card.
Yeah.
And then I had to give them my license as like collateral to make sure I came back.
To pay for the drink?
To pay for the one drink.
What did you get to drink? Like what?
It was just a regular fucking vodka tonic, but I didn't have any money. Like I literally was negative. So when he said, "Go, why don't you just go to the regular bar and get yourself a drink?" I thought he was insinuating like it'll be free. It's on us because you just told us this sob story about how you don't have any money. But he thought I was like half kidding, or he just thought like, oh, he might be broke, but he's not that broke. But like I had negative $100 and something in my account.
I fucking love it, man.
It was the worst.
God, that is so funny. I just imagine you in there with spiky hair and a fucking one of them shirts with flames at the bottom that you button up, like it's orange at the top with black flames. And you're just like, I just blew through. Remember last week I was here? So yeah, go get you a drink, buddy. And then they take all your shit for $12. Like you better,
that's what it was.
You better come back here tomorrow with $12, or you won't get your driver's license back.
Oh man, they were. Oh, I didn't have a driver's license. This was an ID card. Come on, man.
Just an ID.
This is a DUI into it already.
You should just left the ID there, man.
You should have just
you
been
just
like
fucking not even came back.
Yeah. Do you have any like crazy experience? Like, what's the craziest thing you've seen when it comes to strip clubs? As far as dancers, or have you ever been like in the middle of like a fight? Because I know you're not a big, like, you don't get too crazy, but
as far as strip clubs, I used to go to this hole in the wall back in high school, and it was called the G Spot. And it was really in a poor rundown area. And I remember this white dude came in there with his bike, like a bicycle. He walked in there, and I just was staring at him, and the security guard was like, hey, you got to take your bicycle outside. And he said, somebody's going to steal it. And he was like, you got to take it outside. And the guy was like standing his ground, like, I'm not taking my bike outside because somebody will steal it. And he had no, like, in his mind, he wasn't wrong at all. He was just like, and in my mind, I'm like, damn, is he like he was like, show me a sign where I can't bring my bicycle in here. And I'm looking around for a sign, like, I don't see no bike sign. So like, and the crazy thing, I kid you not, they let him bring his bicycle in there.
They did?
He had his bicycle in there. He went and got a drink at the bar, and I just looked at him, and he looked at me, and we didn't even acknowledge each other. He just started drinking, and I just stared at his bicycle. He got a drink, tipped some girls, got his bike, and walked it out. And I was just like, wow, there's no sign. So he was in the right to bring his bicycle in the strip club. And I just realized nobody in the strip club had like a right to down him, because we were all in bad situations. Like, we were all in this strip club where they allowed bicycles at that point. At that point, we were in a strip club that allowed you to park your bicycle in the strip club. So we were all, because
you're not going to Mons Venus with the bicycle.
Yeah. Like, you wouldn't try that.
You wouldn't even.
Like, you see niggas walk in the 7-Eleven with like a gallon jug and try to fill it up. Like, they're not doing that at Ruth Chris or no shit like that. They're fucking. He felt the vibe and was like, I can get my bike in here. Yeah, I can.
They're not gonna fuck.
And he got his bike in there. And then in Austin, I was at this one called Chicas Bonitas. It's a Mexican strip club, and it's so Mexican. Like, the signs when you walk in, the big words are in Spanish, and then they have the English version of it small under it. So it'd be like, Pueblas no esa habla, and then under it'd be like, no firearms in the club. And I'm like, oh, this is like Mexican. And you walked in, and it was like niggas in, and this is gonna sound so hacky on the nose, but it was niggas in construction vests, and they were playing like, cause you think when you go to a Mexican strip club, you think they have sexy Mexican, like, when I think of like sexy Mexican music, I think of like Selma Hayek. Yeah. When she was on Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay.
And it was like, dun,
and she was singing that,
Bro.
Wow, that's a great pull.
They play.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
I was like, yo, this is like
Just totally leaned into the stereotype.
This is some shit like South Park. If South Park made a this is what it would be. And I loved every second of it. I was in heaven. I was in pure heaven. Like, I drunk a $7 Budweiser, and they gave you 2 free tacos. This sounds so made up, but you can fact check me. They gave you 2 free tacos upon entry of this Mexican strip club.
Did you have to pay to get in?
You had to pay to get in. It was $14 to get in.
Okay.
And you got 2 free tacos upon entry. It was a taco truck outside. You got 2 free tacos, and you walk in. And
best tacos you ever had?
I didn't eat that shit, man. I didn't.
Normally, when people end up in those kind of situations, it's like, but you're not gonna believe it. Best burger I ever had.
I wasn't gonna fuck with it, man. I was just so in awe of the dance. They were beautiful.
Yeah,
like they were like some beautiful, and they didn't speak a lick of English. I think one of them spoke English, but she, like, with the Mexican girls, they had access to like those back of the house plastic surgeons.
Yeah.
So you seen a lot of like Brazilian butt lifts and shit in them.
Oh yeah.
And like tummy tucks, but they looked decent. But it was weird because they had like these old, because their face was still fat. Like they still had like these fat, like baseball player on steroid heads. You know what I'm saying? Like you ever seen a baseball player when he do steroid? Yeah. And they had them heads, but they had like these Instagram model bodies. So one of them who did speak English, she came over and said, Poppy, dance. And I was like, no. She's like, no, you want dance. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, I want that. And it was the weirdest thing. It was like getting a lap dance from like Frankenstein's. Like it's like the body of Kim Kardashian and the head of like Coco's grandmother. And it was like somebody's abuelita, whatever the fuck. Abuela. And she's just back there dancing, and she's like trying to be sexy, but she's not. But like from the neck down she is, but she's like biting her lip.
Yeah, she's trying to do the.
Yeah, and she got like a chipped tooth, so it's like it's like cutting into her lip when she try to bite it. You see like a drop of blood. It was beautiful. I enjoyed it. That's the. If anybody's in Austin or visits Austin, it's called Chicas Bonitas. It's next to an overpass, which is perfect.
Always a good sign.
Yeah.
Have you been to some of the ones out on because there's a club out on South Side, Paradise.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to that one?
I went there one time, man. It was okay. But it was too put together. It was too formal.
Okay.
It was like I kind of like them with a little seediness. I like a little nastiness in the strip.
Yeah,
but I don't like nothing where.
So you're not a wackos guy.
No, I don't enjoy wacko. Wackos is cool. They always got like a white girl who like wanted to be known that she liked black guys. You know what I'm saying? Like last time I went there, it was this white girl, and she was like, what my family calls me, and I was like, what? She was like, they call me a nigger lover.
Whoa.
Yeah,
she said that to you?
She said nigger lover. And I was like, oh, I said, word? Why do they call you that? She was like, because, I like black guy. Like, only a black guy knows how to handle me. And I was like, okay. She told me that she drove like a box Chevy and how she got arrested and they didn't give her time, but they gave her black boyfriend at the time. Basically, she was just like, yo, I want some black dick. And I was like, I won't give it to you. It won't be me. But I enjoy this conversation.
But I'm going to talk about this later on the podcast.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be me. I don't ever trust any white woman that only fuck black guys.
Okay.
I couldn't. I don't want to be part of whatever they got going on.
You kind of have that.
Yeah, it's I never, because those are the white women that approach me. I don't want to be part of whatever you got. Whoever you trying to disappoint, whoever wasn't there for you, that's between you and I don't want to be part of that. I want to be special.
Whoever you're trying to disappoint.
But nah, this is mostly supposed to be drinking stuff, man.
Yeah, but you're not a big drinker.
But I enjoy being around drinkers, right?
What do you got?
They used to have at the teen club, not teen club. It wasn't teen club at the time. It used to be known for the teen clubs, but there was a club on Beach Boulevard called Aqua.
Yeah.
You remember Aqua?
No.
Okay.
I've heard stories about Aqua.
They used to
but I wasn't around when Aqua was here.
Okay, what
But
we
you're
do?
not the first person to mention Aqua.
Okay. Yeah, they had something called, it was like all you can drink for $15.
Yeah, Buck talked about it.
Oh,
I think
yeah?
It was Buck, or maybe it was KP Burke.
It was definitely KP Burke. It definitely wasn't Buck. Buck was like...
No, Buck told the story about how he got drunk one time. I think it was at Aqua.
At Aqua?
I think so.
That is insane.
I don't know, but somebody mentioned this, all you can drink.
Yeah.
Somebody has mentioned this before.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. I was there. People were drunk, and
when was this?
This was, oh my God, maybe 19, 20 years ago.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a heavy drinker, but I like being in the vicinity of people who drink.
Yeah.
And
it's like my favorite thing to do now that I'm sober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that dangerous for you?
No.
No?
No, I'm after what happened the last time I drank, I'm as of today, right now, this moment, as we have to preface it or whatever. I'm in fit spiritual condition enough to be around alcohol if it's necessary. Like if I'm at a show, if I'm working, I'm at a show, or if I'm at work or something and like people are getting hammered, I love it. It's like so much fun to watch. Not because I'm living vicariously through them, but almost because it's like, oh, I've seen this movie before. I know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And you have no fucking idea.
Your eyes are just glowing right now. I've never seen you so happy.
Because it's so much fun when like the dude will say something to his girl. And I'm like, oh, I've done that a million times. Like drunkenly say something thinking you're being funny.
And
I'm like, a fight's about to happen. He doesn't even, but he can't see it coming.
He doesn't realize it. He does. Yeah, I've seen that before. I had a homeboy named Little Tim. His real name is Tim. We called him Little Tim because it was two Tims and he was the little one, just for background. And it was these two girls that came over a friend's house and they got dead drunk. And one of them was like throwing up, and Tim was so fucking... Tim was always known for never getting pussy. Like that was the inside joke for Lil Tim. He never got pussy. And these two girls came over, they got drunk. They was like maybe 5s or 6s on their best day. So they were like in like horny drunk mode, but no, like they wanted to fuck my friend and his brother. They didn't want to fuck me, they didn't want to fuck Lil Tim. I was fine with that, but Lil Tim, he was still... He
felt some sort of way about it?
He didn't. He just wasn't deterred. He was still fucking trying. One of them went in the bathroom to throw up, and he was like, I'm finna hold your hair. And the girl was like, get off me. He was like, no, I got it. And we were just like, yo, Tim might rape one of these girls.
God,
I was so like, yo, and this was before people cared about women. Like, this is before that. So we started it. So I was like, yo, because we were going to make a wall. That's back. You remember when Walmart was 24 hours?
Yeah.
And we were finna make a Walmart run for some snacks and shit. And we was like, Tim, come with us. And he was like, nah, I'm gonna hang out here and make sure, they good. And we was like, yo, Tim, we was like, we gotta make Tim come.
Yeah.
Cause Tim didn't even have a shirt on. And we were like, Tim, why you took your shirt off? He was like, man, I'm hot. And I was like, nah, Tim, you finna try to rape one of these girls and we're not gonna let you.
God.
Son. And he was like, man, ain't nobody gonna rape nobody. He was doing like the all shucks. Ain't nobody gonna rape these girls. It was like, Tim, I think looking back, I need to write him and let him know I saved his life, because he would have raped him and he would be in prison and he wouldn't be in the military today.
Oh my God.
He has a nice little military career now, and I want to say it's because of me, but yeah. They were pissy drunk, and I think they were getting drunk on like some like corner store liquor, like the shit they don't even put in the fridge.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
leave it out.
That room temperature in the box that is shipped in.
Yeah,
and so they would like
they put it in like the middle of the aisle. They just open up the box and they're like, "Come get it."
Take a box cutter, like you don't got high standards if you're drinking this, and they didn't, and they was drunk, and I saved them from getting raped by Lil Tim.
You're a hero, man.
Yeah, and I never got a card or nothing. And this, this is before it was cool to say you don't rape women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when like everybody was doing Me Too, and all the guys had to say, I've never raped a woman.
Yeah.
And then everybody was like, oh.
Good for you. Yeah, it's like that's not a...
I've been not raping women since fucking 2006.
88, baby.
Son, yeah. Oh, yeah, 88 when I was born. Yeah, that too. Yeah, I never did. But I was doing it before it was cool. I was not raping women. But
I just never I mean, I don't even want to touch that. What happened to Aqua?
You don't understand how anybody would rape a woman?
No, like I don't like in those date rape scenarios, because I was in, like, we partied a lot in college, we drank all the time. Never once have I been in a scenario where I'm like, oh, it's okay to have sex with this person.
Yeah, and it's
like
fucking.
they're like. Let me rephrase that. Because it sounds like I've only had non-consensual sex. I've never been in a situation where we're both really fucked up, and I thought that it was okay to then sleep with them, and then I just don't do it.
Yeah,
because it's like, oh fuck, like we drank too much. Damn, like I have a joke about it. Like you try to play alchemist, and then you end up like in Skyrim, but you're a level 50 instead of a level 100, and you end up just getting blackout drunk and passing out.
Yeah,
like it's not, but it happens all the time. And it's
yeah,
like,
that's
what
so
the
like
fuck.
Like even taking out the morality, you know, the how it's just wrong to have sex with somebody and they don't know what they're doing. But bro, like I've never seen a girl drunk enough to not be able to give consent, and I'm like, yo, that is so sexy.
Yeah, exactly. I've never.
That's some bottom.
When they start like
shit.
the heel breaks and they start like stumbling around, I'm like, get this bitch the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, where are your friends? Like, why are your friends not taking you home? Like, I've never, like, any nigga that, maybe Tim shouldn't be in the military, son. Who knows what he doing? Who knows what he doing in there, man? He probably raped so many army. God. Medics or whatever they let women do in the military.
Oh my god,
I don't fucking know. But yeah, that's insane, man.
We're on our way out on this one, man.
Yeah, nah, it'll just be me.
They're coming for us, man.
It'll just be me, man. It'll just be me. Luckily, I'm always getting booked at a fucking brewery or shit. Breweries don't care about women.
What happened? What happened at Aqua though?
Aqua. Oh, I got pissy drunk on
You did
free drinks, yeah, because
So you paid the $15 to get in, and then
I paid the $15, and I kept getting Grey Goose and cranberry juice mixed, and I just kept drinking that, so I pounded them down. And I was there with a friend. We met in separate cars, and I got super drunk, got in my car to drive back home. I was staying in my dad's shop. He had a room in the back that was just down the street from Aqua.
Okay.
And this nigga was like, I was like, bro, I'm too drunk to drive. And he was like, oh man, I got this girl I'm trying to meet. She on the other side. This nigga let me drive. The guy came with let me drive. Are you home serious? Drunk. Yeah. And I'm talking about I'm swerving all over the fucking road. And then I stop at McDonald's and I was like, yeah, let me get a 20-piece and a fry. And I came to the front, and then the guy was like, you okay, man? And I was like, man, I'm so drunk. He was like, oh, damn, bro, you fucked up. He was like, yeah, they got you at the next window. And then I just went to the next window and got my nuggets, and I made it home safely.
Damn.
I probably like died. Like, I don't know if it's like the multiverse type shit. I probably died in that reality. And then like in this reality, I'm still.
Isn't that so weird to think about?
Like niggas nobody gave a fuck about me. They really were just going to let me die. I've
obviously drank a lot more than probably everyone we know. But,
yeah.
I've had situations where you wake up the next day and you walk out and the car's like half on the driveway, like half in the grass. And it's like, you guys just let me go?
Yeah.
Like, everyone was cool with it?
Yeah, right? And it's crazy. I'm like, I can't think of a time where I've seen somebody in a situation where they were going to hurt themselves and I was just like, this is going to be funny. Like I always like when people fall down, I always laugh when people fall down, but I'm never like seeing nobody getting in a car like drunk, and I'm just like I let them go. Like it's just crazy how much people just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It was like my homeboy went to go get some pussy and the McDonald's nigga was like your second window. And I was like, okay. I paid him my money and he gave me my change and I went to the second window. But yeah, man, I don't got any like good, like, see, I know niggas probably come here with like stories about getting drunk and they like did a cannonball off the roof of their house onto a trampoline. Mine is just, I kept a girl from getting raped and I made it home drunk.
Well, that's actually, I mean, if you don't drink that often, then you're not. So there's certain people, and they're idiotic for saying this, but there's certain people who are like, I drive fine when I'm drunk. Like,
I've heard that.
I used to say all the time, the car drive with power steering, the car drives itself.
Yeah.
Like I barely even have to hold on to it, and it'll go straight. So it's good. It's refreshing that one of your go-to stories would be, I made it home when I was wasted drunk, because that just used to be a regular occurrence for me. It was like, okay, like, here we go. Which is terrible. I mean, I'm shocked I didn't kill anybody. The 2 DUIs I got, neither of which were an accident, both of which I was pulled over because it was me. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like I wasn't swerving. I didn't like run into anybody. Like the first one, they saw me leave the bar wasted, and then I spent too long at the light went from red to green, and I didn't go immediately, so they used that to pull, because they have to have a reason to pull you over.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I tried to go into Walmart, middle of a hurricane, and they wouldn't let me in because they were closing because of the hurricane. This is Matthew a couple years ago. And I started yelling at the manager. And I was like, by the time I because I ran out of booze at the house.
Yeah.
So I drove up there. And apparently my roommate, to your point about people not giving a shit, apparently one of my roommates was like, you cannot drive. Like, don't drive.
He tried.
Yeah, he tried. So, like, I mean, someone gave a shit. Like, he tried.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, fuck this. I'm going. Like, he tried to take my
keys
keys and
everything. Were you this size back then?
Yeah, about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for just saying, fuck it.
Yeah.
That's on you, buddy.
Yeah, so he tried to take my key, the whole deal, and I was just like, no, fuck it. So I drove up to Walmart, which was like a little over a mile from my house. Drove up there, got into an argument with the manager. He called the cops. Cops show up. I saw the body cam footage. Lady was like, do not get into your car. Do not get into your car. She goes, where do you live? And I told her. She goes, walk home. Walk home. And I go, yeah. And I don't remember a lot of this, but until I saw the body cam footage, and then my roommate told me about everything that happened. So then I said, okay. And then she turned around and walked away, and I tried to run back into the Walmart because I really wanted my vodka and my cigarettes.
Who said walk home? Was it somebody at work at Walmart or the police officer?
No, the police officer said, do not get in your car. You need to just walk home.
Was she the Walmart police officer?
No.
They called her
JSO.
No, I know that, but they have sometimes they have police already.
They called the police, like pulled up, lights going and everything.
Wow.
But I wasn't in my car or anything at this point. I was just standing outside yelling with the manager. So she to her credit, she was like, you need to walk home.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, okay. And then she turned around, I tried to run back inside, and they fucking kicked me out again. And when I got out the second time, I looked around, I didn't see the police anymore.
They had just left.
I was like, oh, they must have left. Walk into my car, sit down in my car as soon as I turn the key. Fucking on the window.
Jesus,
I rolled it down, and she goes, I told you to walk home.
She knew you were fucking drunk. Why didn't she just take you home?
Well, she said, I told you to walk home. And as she's saying this, the sergeant pulled up, and then he took over. And he was the one who actually arrested me and booked me and everything. But I was just like, watching it back.
Yeah.
I was like, it's like, when you watch it, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, just walk home.
What do you think causes you to... When did you start drinking?
I started drinking when I was about 18 years old.
18?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it, social settings or?
So I was really against drinking for the longest time growing up because I was in shitty situations, let's just say, with people around me who were drinking.
Okay.
Like parents getting into fights, or like my stepdad used to do some fucked up shit and stuff. So like I was always like, I'm not going to drink. Like I see what it does to people. I'm not going to drink. So all through high school, I never drank. And then peer pressure when I was like 18 years old. 17. I was a senior in high school. I graduated at 17, so I must have been 17. I was at a party, and they got me to drink like a Smirnoff Ice. And that was the only time I had ever drank in high school, really, I think. And then a few months after that, I remember my sister was having a couple people over at our house.
Let me ask you real quick. The Smirnoff Ice, was that the only drink you had that night, or did you continue?
No. I just drank that one Smirnoff Ice. And
did
I was
you feel any different?
No.
That you remember?
No. I was just like, are you guys happy? The thing was, a few months after that, my sister was having people over at the house. I think my dad was out of town or something. Dad, if you're listening, sorry, but we were having people over, and I was a nerd, dude. Like I was an anxious kid. I always was in my room by myself. I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I had like maybe 2 or 3 friends. I was bullied a lot, so I always kind of just my sisters were the popular ones.
Yeah.
And so she was having people over. And I remember she invited me, and my twin sister were never close until our senior year, which was weird. But I remember she asked me if I wanted to hang out with everybody. And I was so yeah. So I was like, I'm going to drink with everybody. And I got fucking hammered. And I was like.
That was the first time?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. All that anxiety was gone. All that fear was gone. All that depression was gone. And I was like, I love this feeling. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I was just always a partier. but I have an addictive personality, but I could normally channel it into something. So like at the time it was, I partied a lot in between high school and college, but then when I got to college, I was playing football and it was like, okay, I'll party like once a week or something like that.
Yeah.
But then I've told the story before, but then I dated a girl, and it was a long distance thing, and my anxiety just was starting to get too much. So I was drinking every day. And that's when I crossed over into being an alcoholic, because then I couldn't function without alcohol.
In a social setting or just period?
In period.
Wow.
So I was always I was the guy you would invite to the party because like I'd get crazy and like I'd get everyone else to do shots and stuff. But again, it was like Belushi from Animal House. Like I wasn't like that all the time, but if you invited me, you knew what you were getting.
Yeah.
And then there was a summer where I was staying in Daytona. My girlfriend was staying in Miami. We already had severe trust issues because she had cheated a few times. And so like I didn't know how to deal with that. Like if I'm obviously more mature about it now, but at the time I was like, I guess we have to just sit on the phone all day long. Like, because I can't, like I would throw up with anxiety because I'd be like, I know she's out with another guy,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I remember alcohol relieves my anxiety.
Yeah.
So I would start to drink just to help me fall asleep. But then I would start drinking when I got up because I was so hungover. And then I would drink all day. And it literally took one summer of me doing this. And then I could not stop.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one summer of drinking like that hard every day.
And that started at 18.
No. This is fast forward. This is now I'm 20, 21, 22.
But I mean your relationship.
Yeah, my relationship with alcohol started at 18.
And when did it become healthy again?
It's not. Like to this day I cannot drink. Like I'm completely sober now.
When did you become sober then?
I got sober my 30th birthday. I ended up in the ER for alcohol poisoning and was told by a doctor that if I wasn't as big as I was or had the tolerance I had, I should have been dead 6 hours ago.
Word.
Yeah. And so I originally came to Jacksonville to get sober in 2013. That's when I went to rehab. And then I was sober for almost a year. 2 weeks before I got my 1 year chip. Mm-hmm. I sat on the porch with my old roommate smoking cigarettes, and we convinced each other that we had overreacted, that we weren't that bad, that we could drink again. We're only in our mid-20s. Like we overreacted. Yeah. And my ex, Alyssa, at the time had never seen me drink. We had like this beautiful, perfect relationship at the time because she had only ever seen me sober. Yeah. And then, to her credit, she was 19. She had no idea. She didn't know what it was. Yeah. So I'm good at convincing people. I fucking was going to go to law school. Like, I can convince people to do things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not in a weird way, but like, I can make it seem like, oh, yeah, no, like, don't you agree? And so I did that. I did the whole thing. Was like, yeah, I mean, come on, babe. I'm working 2 jobs. Like, I'm only 25. Like, of course I overreacted. And she was like, yeah, you probably did. I couldn't get more than 3 months sober after that for 6 years.
It don't fucking help that alcohol is like legal, right?
Yeah, it's so available.
Your relationship with it sounds like hard narcotics, damn near, right? That sounds like the same journey that like for real, like that somebody they tried a weaker version of it, and then it got strong and strong to the point they couldn't. But the only difference is like they had to go, because without social media at the time, they had to go like to a back alley, or some shit. You could just walk into Walmart, and grab it with a pack.
I had a whole
cigarettes.
bit about it. My mom was giving me Walmart gift cards because she didn't want me to spend Christmas money on booze and cigarettes. But little does my mom know that Walmart has a liquor store attached to it that will gladly sell you booze and cigarettes for a Walmart gift card. That's
insane, man. I remember when I was a kid, I used to always ask why weren't cigarettes illegal, and it's like because there's too many people that stand to lose money. Yeah, if they were illegal, it's too many. It's too big to fail, and I think I guess alcohol is in that same.
Oh
thing.
Yeah, well, I mean they wrote an amendment in the Constitution to ban alcohol. And then it got repealed because it was in the goddamn Constitution.
I just imagine when they were writing that after they wrote that Constitution, you in like a white
wig,
George Washington wig outside of the Constitution Hall, like banging to get in. Like, oh, this is bullshit. This is fucking bullshit.
Oh man.
Then you had to go back because you probably would have had a job like you was a nigga that had to like shovel horse food. Yeah. I don't know what they did. You just always seen them shoveling.
That's why I always worked in restaurants.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it was so easy because I would always work. This is back when Outback was only open at night, and I worked for that company for like 10 years. But you you would make cash, you would get the money, you'd go out and party, and then I would pass out, sleep till like 2 or 3, get up, do a couple shots, and do it all over again.
Yeah.
And that's literally how I live my life every single day. And there were stints, like I said, fast forward, I was with Alyssa, and I was trying to do better. So I would get like 3 months sober, and then I'd fall off, and then I'd get... Best thing that could have ever happened to me in my whole life is the fact that she did leave. Because then I didn't have someone who would always take me back. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
You had to sit with it.
Yeah, so exactly. So like I had done some horrific things, never cheated or anything, but I did done some shitty things. Let's just put it say that. And then eventually she had enough. Like she had always threatened to leave, but I was like, you're my forever and always. Like you're not going to leave. Like we're supposed to get married. That's where the whole joke comes from. Yeah. And it's one of my best jokes, but it's the truth. It's like like I talk to my twin sister about it all the time. I go, "What if your husband left?" She goes, "He wouldn't." I go, "Exactly, but what if he did?"
Yeah.
Well, he never would. That's so hard to convey to people. It's like that's exactly the situation I was in. Was like they would never leave. Like they could talk about it, but they're never going to do it.
Yeah.
And then she did. And I drove the U-Haul back to her mom's house. Like I helped her. It was amicable. Like we're still, I wouldn't say like super close friends, but like if she ever needed anything, I'm always there for her, and I know she's there for me. Like, you know, God forbid if something terrible were to happen, but we're not like buddies. Yeah. But at the same time, it's one of those things where if that had never happened, I would have never learned. So it took that to kind of realize, it took that to kind of push me way down. And then when I finally hit the bottom, I was like, okay, like this is, everyone, like doomed youth is very romantic. You know, when you're in your 20s and you're like, I'm a rock star. Everyone loves that. They make fucking movies about it. Yeah. But doomed middle age is just sad.
Yeah, doomed 30s.
Yeah, once I'm in my 30s and I've got doctors telling me like, you should have been dead a while ago, man.
And telling you got gout. Like this alcohol ain't good for your fucking gout.
Fucking all sorts of intestinal issues and stuff. And my liver's fucked and this and that. And I was just like, I just made the decision where I was just like, I can't. So I went back. I called my sponsor. I've had the same sponsor for a long time. I called him and I was like, you know, I got to start over. And the weird thing about it is there had been times before where I had like a shitty situation and I was like, I need to get and I meant it. Like when I said it, I meant it. But then like I compare it to Neverland all the time, you know, from Hook. Mm-hmm. Like when you're away from it for long enough, you forget. And so it's just, cause you know me, I love fucking movies and all that kind of dumb shit. But that's how I always thought about it. Like the further I'd get away from the last time I drank, I would forget. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like I'm a grown up. I make my own money. I pay my own bills. It's fine. And then I start drinking again and then fucking stop showing up to work. And almost every single time since I originally got sober, every time I would relapse, I would either end up in jail or in the hospital.
Nice.
Almost every time.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
If you're going to do it big, man.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Do it big.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, from Will Blaylock. If you're going to do it big.
Do it big, man.
That is the name of the episode. If you're going to do it big. Plug everything one more time.
All right, guys. I am D's Nuts.
2 E's or 1 E?
D's with 2 E's. DEEZNUTZ 32211. On the PS4,
PlayStation Network.
You
getting a 5?
When they make something worth buying.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want fucking high definition versions of games I already got.
Yeah.
Shit like that. But when they get something worth buying, I will upgrade. Social media, do not follow me. Do not look for me.
You can't find them?
You won't find me. I have a Facebook. I will not accept your friend request.
But inbox him if you want to get time.
Don't come to shows either. None of mine. If you see me on them, don't come.
I really appreciate you doing the show, man.
Thank you. This was eye-opening.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, man.
I'm sorry at the end we ended up talking about me for like 20 minutes.
No, I enjoyed it, man. I feel like it's the highlight. I feel like this is the piece that's going to get people watching.
Good, man. Thank you again, everybody, for listening. Of course, subscribe on Patreon, patreon.com/BrennanTassif. Follow me on all social media at Brennan T Comedy. I've got upcoming dates. Check the website, BrennanTComedy.com. That's it, man.
That's it.
Yeah. We're out.